Welcome into another digital edition of Daily Wager. I'm Doug Kezirian alongside Anita Marks and Joe Fortenbaugh. We're talking about wide receivers, right? The divas in the NFL. Who's going to lead the league in receiving yards this coming season? Well, let's start with the guy who did it last year and probably the most appropriate Twitter handle. Can't guard Mike. Michael Thomas, just exceptional last year for the Saints. Even when Drew Brees was hurt, he gets it done. Over 1,700 yards. He's 4-1 to do it again. We last saw it with Calvin Johnson, a receiver going back-to-back in terms of leading the league in receiving yards. It's a low number, but that offense is pretty prolific. Anita, what do you think about this 4-1 odds?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll make a small play on this. Let's be honest. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You can't cover him. He's the ultimate chain mover. And the addition of Emmanuel Sanders this year to that wide receiving core for the Saints is the only reason why I have some hesitation. Is he going to have 150 targets? Is he going to average that 33% target share? I don't think so. But is his athletic ability enough that he can accumulate those yards after the catch? He possibly can. On top of that, the Saints, as of late, they're focusing more on running the ball with Alvin Kamara. I think they're going to pick up where they left off last year. I think they're going to be more of a rushing team as well than just that gunslinger mentality with Drew Brees. So I'm a little bit hesitant here. So maybe a small play on Michael Thomas, because I do think he's the best wide receiver in the league.
Well, that's the thing. It's not only is he great, but is the opportunity is going to be there over every other wide receiver in the NFL. Joe, I remember last year, a lot of sharps I would talk to or continue to fade Thomas because the props for each game were just so out of whack, but he continued to hit the overs, and they finally bailed about a handful of games in because they said it's just too much to bet against him. But in terms of this, 4-1, are you taking it?
He's a beast, no doubt. And you can't guard him like he says. But here's the problem. You can reduce his targets and his opportunities. And that's what's going to happen, like Anita said, because of the addition of Emmanuel Sanders. Thomas led the NFL in targets last year at 185, and it wasn't even close. He was 29 ahead of second place. And look at the hierarchy on the New Orleans roster. 185 targets for Thomas. Second place is a running back in Alvin Kamara at 98. Third place is a tight end in Jared Cook at 63. You bring Emmanuel Sanders into the mix, targets are going down, receptions are going down, receiving yards are going down. Dude's a beast, nothing against the talent, but if the opportunities diminish, we're going to look elsewhere to make a play, especially at a better price.
All right, Joe, so let's look elsewhere with a revisit of our game. Would you rather? Julio Jones at 7-1, DeAndre Hopkins now in Arizona at 9-1. Who would you rather take?
Julio Jones at 7-1. He's consistent as rain in the Amazon based on what you see each and every year from this dude. Top 2 in receiving yards in 5 straight seasons. And over the last 6 years, he's averaged 1,564 receiving yards. He's got Matt Ryan as his quarterback who, let's be honest, maybe he's not an elite quarterback. You can be on the fence however you want with Matt Ryan, but he's missed one game in the last 10 years. These guys have been working together forever. They might have one of the most solid rapports in the National Football League. So you're giving me consistency, bankability, history, and Calvin Ridley entering year 3 will help keep the double teams away from Jones. I would take him at 7-1, considering Hopkins has a new offense, new quarterback, new coach, both of which are only entering their second year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's all for all the reasons you outlined. We've seen it before. We're familiar with it. We're comforted by it. And there's only a gap of 7-1 to 9-1. Anita, what about you?
Yeah, what he said. I mean, Julio, everything he said is right. Julio Jones, Matty Ice, especially. I know I keep on going back to the fact that we're in a pandemic, but I think that's going to have a major play on teams this season. They have the chemistry. He averages 10 targets a game. Here's a great stat for you. He leads the NFL in yards per route run, and he has for 4 consecutive seasons, which is unbelievable. Hey, not to take anything away from Hopkins, he's a top wide receiver in the NFL, but a new system. Murray runs the ball a lot. And get this, he's going to be a part of a wide receiving core that is a lot more talented than the one he was working with in Houston. So there's going to be a lot more weapons for Murray to work with and go to in Arizona. So like I said, what he said, give me Julio.
Let's stretch it out now with guys with double-digit odds. We'll start with Odell Beckham Jr., 20-1. Year 1 was not what he had envisioned, all things considered. But, Joe, you like this at 20-1, and that could pay for a lot of cat food in a year.
I feel so dirty making this pick. Everyone knows how I feel about the Browns, but 20-1 on Odell Beckham. Look, last year was a joke in Cleveland, and he's still ranked 15th in the NFL in targets, and he crossed 1,000 yards. I think this team's coming back a little bit stronger this year. I'm not picking them to win anything, but I am going to think that you're going to get more out of Baker Mayfield, especially under new head coach Kevin Stefanski. 1 year as the offensive coordinator in Minnesota. Look at what he did for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins' highest QB rating of his career, his highest TD percentage of his career, his highest yards per attempt average of his career, his lowest interception rate of his career. He got a lot out of Kirk Cousins last year, and Adam Thielen was banged up for quite a few games. Beckham, 20-1. I feel dirty. I want to make it clear I'm not picking the Browns to win anything, but I will take a shot here at 20-1.
All right, so I made a joke for those new to the program about your having a cat. We go to Anita now, who's got a lot of dogs' mouths to feed. So we got to get this ticket to cash. 20-1 for Kenny Golladay, who was 7th last year in receiving yards. Anita, why are you taking a flyer on him?
Because the numbers that he put up last year with Matthew Stafford, his starting quarterback, only playing 8 games is mind-boggling. It really is. He's one of the best deep threats wide receivers in the NFL. He had 36 deep balls tossed to him. On top of that, 3rd highest in yards per reception last season. And again, I will go back to the fact that Matthew Stafford only played 8 games. So if, this is a big if, bold capital letters, Matthew Stafford can stay healthy, I love Matthew Stafford and Golladay all season long. Stack them, win your money.
My guy is going to be someone in the neighborhood, and that's Adam Thielen at 22-1. I liked it at 40-1 a day ago when we sort of were circling things. Look, he has arguably the best hands in the NFL. Stephon Diggs is no longer there. He's in Buffalo. You mentioned the offense coordinator, now the head coach in Cleveland, Joe, but they have Gary Kubiak in. They've been running Kubiak's system before, so Kirk Cousins will be seamless. And I think Cousins, I've said it before, I think he'll benefit actually with no fans this year. I think he'll be much more comfortable on the road. I'm expecting a big year for the Vikings, so I'll grab Adam Thielen at 22-1 to bounce back from injury and have a more Adam Thielen type season. In terms of long shots, one guy that sort of has my attention is Terry McLaurin, 75-1 for the Redskins. Look, I think Haskins' criticism is overblown. He's not nearly as bad as everyone wants to make him out to be. They're going to be trailing in a lot of games. McLaurin and he developed chemistry last year. He led the team in receptions, targets, receiving yards as a rookie. In terms of a high ceiling, 75-1, certainly something I want to take a little small piece of. Other guys who have our attention are other long shots. We're looking at non-wide receivers. It's never been done in the Super Bowl era, a non-wide receiver to lead the NFL in receiving yards. But the tight end position has obviously grown in recent years. Kelsey at 25-1, Kittle 60-1. Maybe Gronk connects with Brady and they kind of repeat history down there in Tampa Bay. But Alvin Kamara, 400-1 out of the backfield in New Orleans. And McCaffrey could be an MVP. He is 200-1. All right, guys, we took some fun, had some fun with some long shots, and obviously we talked about the favorites. Good stuff as always, and the NFL can't get here soon enough.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.